Hello, Flash Dagger here with the track guide for Road Atlanta in the Gr4. I've opted for the Jaguar, but other cars are available, particularly the Aston Martin, which is very evident in the top 10 and throughout the leaderboards. You will see from clicking on the guide it is quite lengthy in duration. This is not a basic guide for brake here, turn here. There is some granular details to explain the concepts of what we're doing, which means that hopefully you'll not only improve in this combo, but be able to apply what you've learned on other tracks also. If you do gain or have any learning or benefit from this guide, I would very much appreciate you letting me know in the comments. That's not an algorithm thing, but genuinely knowing it has helped someone is far more satisfying to me as a small YouTuber than the 47 pence of ad revenue that the video will give me. So if you want to go above and beyond and give it the old like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated also. So further ado, let's get into the guide. Okay, so we've had our run up. We're just going to hit the 6th gear here. We're going to approach the grass on the left hand side. We're going to pause it there. You can just see a little bit of red inputs coming in on the brakes. I'm also getting off the throttle so we don't have overlay. What you may see some drivers doing is really going into that indent on the left hand side, but your first braking marker really should be where the grass ends on the left. I don't like to go too far to the left because you're taking a risk of catching your rear wheels in the grass, which can obviously cause you to slide. Now, this particular corner is very, very important for a number of reasons, and people tend to do it wrong. One of the things they will do is they will burn off too much speed. They will carry too much speed through the corner and put themselves into the gravel, or alternatively they will turn in too early. Really, my preferred way to do this is to sort of aim and shoot, particularly in Gr4. You'll see what I mean now. So I'm going to play this through and keep an eye on the brake. I'm going to be modulating the brake to carry as much speed as possible, and once I'm convinced that I have my line ready at the apex, I'm just going to floor it and be brave and use the full width of the track. So let's watch that. Okay, so you can see now I've taken myself through with the braking and trail braking. I've got off the brakes, I've got off the throttle, I've got my line, I'm ready to commit to my line, which I think is going to be enough to allow me to get onto the power as early as possible and carry that speed up the hill. So it's going to be, I'm going to floor it, and it's going to be very, very close to the edge. And I'll just let you see what that looks like across all the different viewpoints. So this is obviously my preferred view, which is hood. And there's your chase cam, so that's kind of the line that I'm coming in at there. And then obviously cockpit if you use that. And there is the bumper cam. So we'll go back to my preferred view and let's play it through. So there's the power coming in. Okay, full width of the track used. Now, at the top of this hill, I'm going to do something which may seem, well, that's not the breaking point, and it's to create angle. Angle is important for this next turn at the top of the hill. So you play this through, you'll have a little look and see. Up to 5th, okay. There, right? This is not a breaking point. What I'm trying to do here is I need, if I keep on and have the throttle at full and come round the corner, I'm going to come off the corner to the center of the track. And it's really going to compromise me for my entry into the next part of Sector 1, which is a very, very tricky corner, which a lot of people get wrong. And I'm going to talk you through a couple of ways in which hopefully you can get that right. And it's about timing and anticipation, because you really can't overthink it. If you overthink it, you're going to overshoot it. So we need to get it right. So I'm off the throttle now, and I'm going to try and come in. You can see the inputs are into the left. I'm going to come round that curb, not take too much grass, but give myself enough angle to get ready for a double drop shift to 3rd and carry that speed using all of the curb for the next corner. Right, so that was it. So that's a big difference. So that little movement, you can see how I have now set myself up ready for this corner. Now, as you can see, I'll just put a little arrow. It's barely visible to me. You can just see the slightest bit of curb, right? And that's what we're aiming for. And this is why it's so tricky, is it's a hidden corner. And if you look at it a little bit more visible in the chase cam, let me see the cockpit, it's almost entirely hidden. Okay, and you can see that the inputs are in for braking, and I'm steering to the left to get ready to commit to that right hand turn. Let me look at it again. Sorry, I'll just go through there. And again, you see even lower down in the bumper cam, it's completely hidden. So you need to anticipate this, and you can use that reference of that white line as your reference as to where you really want to be getting on. Just before that, getting onto the brakes, and then you're going to see the input towards the end of the curb there. Okay, as quick as that. Now we are really beginning to aggressively come into this corner. So let you see what that looks like just before the end of the curb. There's your chase cam, okay, your cockpit and your bumper cam. That's how that will look. So what we're really wanting to do here is, sector 1 is really about track limits, okay? So this corner, if you carry too much speed through it, you're going to either go run on wide, and you're not going to have the angle to come round and carry the speed. I'll show you what I mean by that. If you turn in too early, you're going to cut the curb, you're going to get a penalty. So really what you're wanting to do here, if I just play it on through there, okay, you really want to be getting your left tire, I'm just going to do it there, okay. You really want to have your left tire on the blue and your right tire on the yellow, and that's about as much of the track limits you can take. Now, I prefer to coast it across. I don't like to put the throttle down too much whenever I'm not on tarmac, because it can destabilize. I get a little bit of inputs through here. I'm going to use the chase cam for this sector to give you an idea of the lines to take. So if I just play that through, and now I'm fully onto the power, I'm going to be a quick upshift to fourth. And I've got that little 1 yard you can see to the left there. That's enough that I'm going to be able to ride the curb. And this is where people get it wrong. If you've gone too close to that curb, okay, and you've carried too much speed too early, when you get onto fourth gear here and come on round here, you're going to end up either at the middle of the track, okay, or too far to the right, at which point you're going to be wrestling the car to get it here, okay, back to here, or you're going to have to lift and not carry the speed in one motion. And what I was able to do here, which is why my sector 1 is very, very quick, is I was able to do this with no lift, with no curb, and I was able to thread this needle, which is very, very difficult, because in Group 3 you will potentially have to lift. And if you hit the curb on the right hand side here, it can destabilize you and bounce you across the track, which means you'll cut the further curb on the left hand side. You'll lose time, you'll lose stability, you'll get dirty tires, you maybe get a penalty. So getting this right, so you want to be at the left hand side, coming up to the WeatherTech sign, come up to the curb, and then you're going to bring it in. Okay, round there. Okay, took a little bit of curb. Now the reason I'm using a little bit of curb here is, this is in sector 1 is probably the toughest part of this track, and this is the part that people struggle with the most. And we can debate it till the cows come home about whether you should or you shouldn't, or whether the track limits are too much. It is what it is, right? If you want to go really, really fast on this track, you need to take the widest possible line, which is the grass line. Now, I will put a caveat against that. I don't take this line in the race. I take the curb line, which means what I'm about to show you now is about, in the race for safety, is about 3/4 of a car width to the left hand side. So I will run my right tires up the curb, whereas in this line for maximum speed, entry speed and exit speed for width, I'm going to have my left tires on the curb. So I'm going to fire on through here, there, right. This is what people get challenged with. I'm going to show you that obviously in, this is chase, bumper, And this is my preferred hood view. And I think I've gone past it. There's cockpit view. Come back to hood. So you can see on the right hand side that it's the sign. Okay, so the sign is where you're going to get onto the brakes. Really, whenever that comes in view, as soon as you hit the curb, essentially, you want to get onto the brakes. But that's not what's important here. You've got two different surfaces under your left and right tires. And the way to do this right, and I'm actually not doing it perfect here, but I've had to force the issue. I've got a little bit of right hand input. Ideally, you want that to be dead center, okay? When you're getting on the brakes and there's any grass involved or any other surface, you want your braking inputs to be in a straight line to keep the car stable, okay? So I'm going to give this a dab of the brakes, and then I'm going to come off the brakes at the end of the curb, aim to get myself coasted and carrying the speed round and through the curb, and then get on to fourth gear. So we're going to watch that. Drop shift, okay, off the curb, drop shift to third, still a little bit of brakes, still a little bit of brakes, still a little bit of brakes, and there, right, it's as aggressive as that, okay. I'm going to take that curb, and I'm now on the power. I haven't even left the corner. Look at the inputs on the right hand side. It's all about commitment, same as turn one, same as the blind turn two. This is all about commitment and just having the confidence that you're going to have enough space to run off. And that's where people lose speed, is they wait till they see the corner. They wait until they're round the corner. They wait until they're fully comfortable. And you can do an okay time, but this is to do an elite level time. So you have to commit and just trust that the car will rotate. So you can see the inputs there. Full throttle, okay? And we've used, as much track limits as we can get away with there. Our left tires are just in that little yellow line there. We can, a little look behind us, maybe that'll show you. So you see where there's the blue and the yellow. There's a yellow line, and then there is that staggered blue and yellow, and then the bigger blue and yellow. So your left wheels can't go over the smaller blue and yellow stripes, is my understanding, and you'll avoid a track limit penalty. And I think we've done that pretty well. So we're just going to drive this out in fourth gear. For reference, that was a 0.960 sector 1, if you're wondering. So coming down here, getting ready to brake. So where I'm going to start braking is, see that tree just before the one, so we're going to call that the 200 tree, but the one before that on the left hand side, I'll have an arrow pointed at that. You can use that as a brake reference, okay? You can use that little black line that we've just passed, but ultimately we're on the brakes now. Now I don't do this perfectly. You'll see there's a bit of a lack of commitment in me getting on the throttle, because I knew I've absolutely nailed sector 1, okay? It's going to be quick. And then I get a bit nervous and like, don't mess this up, my goodness, like get this right. So I kind of stall a little bit, which I'm annoyed at myself for. So you'll see here, third gear, okay? I'm on the power, but I could have been on so much earlier. But what you want to notice here is, again, I'm using the curbs to rotate my car. I've got two different surfaces there, and my left hand tires are going to be going around this corner quicker and with more traction than the tires on the inside, which makes perfect sense to rotate your car. And I'm not fully on the throttle. I just didn't commit, okay? And to get top 10 or world record times, you really need to be, I needed to have my left tires on the blue and yellow again and be brave, but I wasn't, and it's cost me a 10th. So there's another 10th in here. But essentially, if we just go back to my personal view, okay, little line on the track, that's what I'm looking at, is where is that little line on the track. I'm going to break it from third down to second, come off the curb to first, and again, not too early, okay. Want to try and get that late apex on the straight. I'm going to coast it here, okay? See? We're just a little feathering of the brakes and coasting. And I'm going to use this curb again to rotate me, okay? So we're up on it. And already I'm on the power. So I've half power. I'm waiting for the car to rotate. I'm feeling the traction. And then I'm just going to power it out. There. Full commitment out of the corner. But we have lost that. We've lost a 10th through those 2 turns because I just didn't commit to the first apex well enough. So whenever we approach the split 2, it was a 0.38 or something like that, but realistically my best was a 0.276. So approaching the final corner here, just to get ourselves set up, I want to talk about the final corner and the final sector and why it's important. A lot of time can be won or lost in this sector. So what I'm looking for, and I use brake markers, usually it's about, if you use brake markers, it's about 2 red lines in. But if you don't use brake markers, then you're going to see at the 100, there's a little red box on the right hand side here. And we just come down there, you can see just before the red box, you can see the braking inputs are beginning to come in. Now, this is so important. Group 4 is different than Group 3. In terms of how some of these corners can be taken pretty much full speed. And I've been on faster laps than this before, and if you just get this right, it's so good. And I'm going to insert now or after this what it looks like and how much time we gained the way I did it on another top 10 Ghost. But I like to brake this in a straight line down to 2nd gear and take a little bit of the inside of the curb, but get myself up to 3rd and essentially floor it around the whole thing. If you get it right, then you can do it in one motion. You should be able to carry 3rd gear in one motion. I think I have a little comfort lift because I got nervous from having gotten it wrong previously and knowing I was in a good lap, but it was still pretty good. Okay, so getting ready, full brake still. There's the drop shift, okay? And look at that. Not only am I up to 3rd, I've got full lock on the steering. I'm taking as much of that track as I can. I'm already at 50% throttle, and I've got to give myself a nice line up through here. Now, here's what I would say. You can use a little bit of grass on the inside for the first apex, but don't do it in the second apex. Do not take grass on the second apex because you're going to be full throttle. It's okay whenever you're decelerating, but full throttle across this next curb will spin you out. As much as you want to take, you want to be using the curb because you want that traction up and out of the hill. So there's full throttle, tiny little lift, tiny fraction of a lift, and then I'm going to floor it here, there, right? So, you know, that might shock you that, you know, we're not waiting until we're past the corner to get on the full power to carry the speed. Now, whenever you see this against the Ghost, another top 10 Ghost, this is absolutely nailed, like 2/10 quicker than my previous attempts at this final sector. So we're on there and we've fully just carried the speed all the way around. 4th gear at top of the hill, center of the track, and bring that one round to the end. It's a 122.946. So we can go a 10th quicker, I believe. But sector 1, the first and last sector were pretty much as fast as I can do them. The middle sector about a 10th off. So hopefully that has been of some help to you. I will play the lap now for you at full speed, and I will play that with me chasing the Ghost from the raw footage, so you will see how much was gained in sector 1, the little bit that was lost in sector 2, and how much was gained back again in sector 3. Now, if that has been helpful for you, you wouldn't mind doing the old give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. Maybe I can start bringing you some more either guides or some more races, because I have really good races every week with a lot of people and I never share them. So if you'd like me to do that, just let me know in the comments. If this has helped you, if you want more videos, I know I've been quiet on YouTube, but it would be great to back and do some more. Thanks very much. Bye bye.